You gotta have knowledge for life. 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 You gotta have
That's what I said. I said it was the jump call.
Should be here. All right.
Brian, come back. We don't need you to be at the table. Come on back real quick.
Y'all welcome. Only a star.
Get out of here, Uncle Brian.
Thank you for being willing to be the table.
In the African tradition, you pour libation at the start of any important event. Marriage, war, death, birth, any special occasion. And normally, it could be palm wine, beer, alcohol, pop, or the best water. And you usually pour it to the ground and continue that cycle of life. The primary purpose is to reconnect and stay in touch with those who've gone before, where our energy comes from, our ancestors. And on this special occasion of the 40th anniversary of the McClendon Institute for Learning, we celebrate and ask all of our ancestors to come and be with us, to fill the space above our heads. We want to remember all of them, and we start right back at the beginning. We now know that every human being on the face of the earth, red, yellow, black, or white, evolved from one of two African women. And that is the beginning of civilization. We want to remember those ancestors as we pour libation to the ground and say, Ashe.
Ashe.
We want to remember that as our ancestors were captured or stolen and placed on ships, they may have left with short notice and had no bags to pack. But contained in their mind, in their bodies, in their brain, and in their creativity was all that would be needed to survive and grow and build again. And we want to remember our ancestors and say Ashe.
Ashe.
There was less than 1% of slaves that were captured. By acknowledging that there may be some of us who involved ourselves in that dastardly deed of trade. But we know who was really captured were builders of great castles and monuments, weavers of cloth, toolers of gold and silver, carvers of wood, builders of institutions of learning. And we want to say Ashe.
Ashe.
And we know that there were more who did not make it to land, whose bones lay at the bottom of the ocean. So many bones that it changed the ecology of the water. We want to remember those who did not make it, and we say, Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe. We want to remember all of those great ancestors, known and unknown, who throughout the South built the South, the North, the West. And we want to remember our ancestors and say, Ashe. We want to remember those ancestors who saw the value and the need to migrate north, to places like Pickering, Tip City, and Troy, and Dayton, and Xenia, Cincinnati, and on. And we want to say, Ashe. We want to remember those great ancestors that belong to you and I, and always call on them. Call on them and say, Ashe. We want to remember Mr. and Mrs. McClendon, whose vision gave rise to McClendon Institute of Learning, and say, Ashe. We want to remember James H. McGee, Ashe. C.J. McClendon. We want to remember those that you know helped to build where we are, Ashe. Call their names.
William Sharp.
Ashe.
Ida Dumas.
Call their names. Ashe. Call their names. Ashe. Ashe. Ashe.
General Chewy.
Ashe. Feel their spirits just above your head. Feel their presence just above your head. And the best part, they're always there. We do not travel alone. And we can always call upon them. May the ancestors continue to speak to us and through us. May the ancestors continue to speak to us and through us. Selvin, is Selvin here today? Would you come forward, sir? This is Selvin. I need your help. I'm going to pour this libation, and we want you to be the storyteller, to always tell your friends and those who will listen what you heard and what you saw today. Can you do that? This is for you. Always remember, take that home and tell the story of what you saw today. Ashe. Ashe. And I want to thank my wife for being a part of this special libation today. Because without women, none of us would be here. Ashe. Ashe. Thank you.
Thank you, Baba Bean. Okay, next we are going to call up our commissioners, Mama Nazipo, Mama Renee, and we are going to do our land dedication and ribbon cutting ceremony.
Ashe. What's wrong? You're great, Mama.
Yeah, you can go ahead and go ahead. The commissioners are going to go ahead and make their remarks right now. So we'll just go ahead and you guys just go to the front.
All right. Well, thank you all for inviting us here today. This great occasion of the 40th anniversary and this land dedication. I'm so glad to be here, and I just bring you greetings on behalf of there you go, thank you. On behalf of my colleagues on the Dayton City Commission, obviously Commissioner Joseph, Shanice Turner-Sloss, Daryl Fairchild, and our mayor, Jeffrey Mims, who couldn't be here today because he had a prior commitment, but certainly sends his greetings to all of you. This is just wonderful. I remember several years ago when I first got involved with McClendon Institute and how far it's come. And how far it's come thanks to all of you, and especially the leadership, Mama Renee and Mama Nazipo and all of the elders. So yes, congratulations. You know, McClendon Institute brings such cultural richness to this community. And that's really the value. And I just love the ceremony and encouraging and inviting the kids to join in and tell the story, our story. And well, just so much it brings to our community in general. Other communities just simply don't have this. For all of these years and bringing this cultural richness to a community, it's just remarkable. I wish the media was here. They can come and talk about West Dayton when the negative things happen, but where are they today? They should be right here. So what we need to do is reach out to them and share our story with them and make them talk about it. We're going to do that on Wednesday at our commission meeting for sure. But thank you so much for having us here, and thanks for everything that you do for our community. Thank you so much. It just brings so much to us. So thanks a lot. You want to make some?
All right.
I'll just say I agree with what Chris said. This Wednesday, we're going to make sure the public knows what happened here today, the richness of the culture, relating to the history, making sure folks remember. It's all really important for going forward. You can't go forward if you don't remember what already happened. So I really appreciate you all. Thank you for having us.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, can we give a hand applause, a better applause for our commissioners?
Go ahead, Mama.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I've been bamboozled and bullied into saying something. Anyway, as you all know, we have our city commissioners here, and we struggled to get this piece of land that you see here. It was a big struggle, and we are thankful to both of you, you know, because you had a big hand in making sure that we do get this piece of land. This piece of land we're going to be using, this is going to be our community piece of land, because if you all remember, we used to do stuff over there. We used to just go over there across the street, and it wasn't our land. And sometimes somebody would hijack it before we could get to it. This is not happening here. This is our land. Land is very, very important. That's right. Remember that. Land is very important. So it is very crucial that we have this land. And there's a young man here too that I have to mention, Donald Dominic. He's here somewhere, you know, and he also made sure that he talked to the people who could help us to get this land. So this is the McClendon land. In other words, this is your land. In addition to that, where's Brian, who was covering himself with something?
That's him.
Yeah.
He went to Stifle.
Okay, yeah. Brian was covering something which is very important. Some young man gifted us, not sell, gifted us a little library. And you know, this is an institute for learning. So having a little library is very important, because A library is inside. You have to go inside when people are open. The little library is open all day and all night at all times. Whether you are walking by, you can get you a free book. Whether you are driving by, you can get you a free book. It doesn't matter which way. If you have a drone, you can send your drone to pick up the little book. So this is why we are cutting this ribbon today, to introduce and to dedicate this land. And we did our libation on this land because that's what Africans do. We did our African dance and our drum call on this land because we wanted the ancestors to come whenever they feel like it to visit this land right here and to continue to teach us what to do on this land. Okay, also inside, as I mentioned, we do have a library inside. And this library, where's Sisi? Sisi right there of Akebulan. They made sure when our mother, the Bibi Ashe, when she joined the ancestors, Sisi made sure that we got the books that Bibi Ashe had dedicated for McClendon Institute. Bibi Ashe was like Baba McClendon. She was an educator, you know, and this is so important, especially now. We see how our story is being taken away from us. We see how our children are being miseducated. Carter G. Woodson told us about the miseducation of the Negro. These things are coming true. So it is on us to make sure that we dedicate these libraries, that you donate books to these libraries, that you come and use these libraries. Bring your children to come and read at the library. Bring your children to come and get a book out there. So the Bibi Ashe Library is inside and it will be dedicated also. Ashe. Ashe.
I have to say something.
Yes.
I appreciate you all.
You're welcome.
We can't hear you.
What you say? Put your mic up to your mouth.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody coming.
Closer.
You still can't hear me?
Closer.
I'm standing next to
There you go.
She can't.
Thank you all for coming, and thank you for being here for this dedication. It's 40 years. It's so good to see you all. I haven't seen a lot of you in so long. It's been years. And to have my brother, my family out here is awesome. So thank you so very much.
How old is this building?
This building is 100 years old. So you can see why I'm really, am happy to be still here. And we're dealing with challenges, 40 years with different challenges and struggles. And I'm ready to do the next 40.
That's right.
All right.
The last thing that we definitely want to say, for you love is 100 years old. They built Roosevelt 100 years ago. So the Teddies, I'm glad you went.
That's right.
So you felt that, didn't you? Okay. So what we're gonna do, on the count of 3, we're gonna say 40. Y'all with me?
Yeah.
Y'all with me?
Yes.
All right. 1, 2, 3. 40.
All right, we are now going to head back inside for the remainder of our ceremony. So I'm going to give everybody about 5 minutes to get to their respective places, and then we will get started.
Good job, my man. Hey, y'all. You don't have to go all the way around.
There is a door on the side that you can enter without having to walk all the way around.
Our ancestors are living on us at the moment. I can't see. They can see us, but I can't
Hey sis, how you doing? Been a while. Good. You too.
I'm not gonna go give her my size.
Not the 50-50. This is prize. Try to win some type of prize. Whatever prize they get.
Whatever. Just record.
Yes.
You all have 4 minutes in counting to find the end.
And congratulations to the McClendon Institute. In recognition of and celebration of the 40th anniversary African-centered holistic cultural education program. Please accept my best wishes on this special occasion. In testimony whereof, I have hereunto subscribed my name and caused the great seal of the city of Dayton to be affixed this 30th day of September, 2023. In addition to the greeting, this is from Montgomery County. Be it known that the Board of County Commissioners of Montgomery County, Ohio, proclamation. Whereas the McClendon Institute for Learning opened its doors 40 years ago and has since become a community icon located at 2100 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Way, Dayton, Ohio. Male cultural, educational programs and life skills have benefited residents of all ages, and whereas the performance of the Kuamba Drum and Dance Company have occupied stages throughout the community. They have been a staple at festivals, theater auditoriums, churches, and civic events as the only resident African culture performance in the Dayton community. In addition to drum and dance classes, Mill has supported after-school programs, and the Mill is McClendon Institute for Learning, okay? They have it abbreviated, but that's okay. But the McClendon Institute for Learning has supported after-school programs, rites of passage, sewing, crafts, martial arts, virtual arts, and theater whereas Renee McClendon, Artistic Director of McClendon Institute for Learning, gives credit to her parents for acquiring the property on which it's located and entrusting her with the mission of building an educational center that would serve the community's children and their families. And whereas Renee McClendon, affectionately referred to as Mama Renee, proudly hosts this 40th year anniversary benefit to celebrate their history as well as build up an even brighter future. The event will feature drumming, dancing, food, and a fashion show. In addition, the organization will be dedicating a new library on a plot of land next to the McClendon Institute for Learning and unveiling it as the Little Library. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Montgomery County, Ohio, does hereby join the community in thanking Renee McClendon for her commitment and years of outstanding leadership and service. We celebrate you and we look forward to many more years on this well-deserved milestone as the McClendon Institute for Learning celebrates 4 decades on this 30th day of September 2023 and is signed by Deborah A. Lieberman, President, Carolyn Rice, and Judy Dodge. The McClendon Institute of Learning Board Certificate of Appreciation, an acknowledgement and honor of the steadfast service to our community. Through the McClendon Institute of Learning Board of Directors, we confer the certificate to Renee McClendon on the 40th anniversary celebration, September the 30th, 2023. Mama Naziko and your board. Thank you so very much. Today this was definitely a week. I couldn't, there's no way in the world I could still be here 40 years. Out of hell. Yes. I thank you.
We want to say thank you, Mama, and we're honored. Let me not stand close. She can get me. Thank you for mentoring me. Thank you for being here for me and my family for almost 20 years plus. Thank you for always giving me encouraging words. Thank you for always being uplifting. Thank you for your creativity. Thank you for your energy and your integrity. We thank you and we love you, and we want to give you flowers while you're here.
Amen. Yeah.
Okay, and because we are celebrating, let us continue to acknowledge those members of your board and others. We would like for Aluga McClendon to step forward. Alugu, you have a whole family of individuals who corrected me for mispronouncing your name. So, hey, let me hurry up and get out of here. Alugu. And she knows I love her dearly. So, forgive me, Alugu. We have a certificate for you, and as you enter, it says simply, but these simple words mean so much. An acknowledgement and honor of the steadfast service you have contributed to the community through the McClendon Institute of Learning Board of Directors. We confer the certificate to Alugu McClendon on the 40th anniversary celebration, September the 30th, 2023. Where are you, board? Come on over here and shake Aluga's hand. Come on, board. Come on. Alugu. The same statement is written on this certificate as well. Emma Andrews, in acknowledgement and honor of the steadfast service to our community through the McClendon Institute of Learning Board of Directors, we confer this certificate to you, Ms. Emma Andrews. Please, thank you.
Everybody, I just want to accept this on behalf of my husband.
We can't hear you.
Thank you, Miss Kitty. Okay. The next person is Jay Sean McClendon. Jay Sean, come on up. In honor of your steadfast service to the McClendon Institute of Learning, the Board of Directors conferred this certificate to you, Jay Sean. Jay Sean. She may be changing. We'll make sure that she gets this. But let's clap it up for Jay Sean. Our next honoree is Shamba Muhammad. In appreciation of your acceptance of the Kuumba drama, dance, and okay, let me start again. In appreciation of your acceptance of the Kuumba drama, drum, and dance company, Torch for Drumming, Shamba, please come forward. He may have left.
They're outside.
They're still outside.
With the drums.
Okay, he's still outside with the drums. Okay. Shannon isn't here, but we also confer this appreciation on Shannon Johnson, an appreciation of your acceptance of the Kuumba Drama, Drum, and Dance Company, Torch for Dance. Shannon Johnson is not here with us today. Let's clap it up for her. The McClendon Institute of Learning Board Certificate of Appreciation is also given to Nozipo Glenn. In acknowledgement in honor of the steadfast service to our community through the McClendon Institute of Learning Board of Directors. We confer the certificate to you on the 40th anniversary celebration. Thank you, Mama. She said, you want to say anything else, Mama? No, Depot? No. Okay, the next person, in acknowledgement and honor of your steadfast service to the McClendon Institute of Learning, the Board of Directors conferred the certificate to Donald Dominique. Yes, thank you.
Thank you on behalf of the entire Dayton Black Panther Party. Thank you guys so much.
Darlene West, in acknowledgement and honor of the steadfast service to our community through the McClendon Institute of Learning Board of Directors, we confer this certificate to you, Darlene West. Yes. On the 40th anniversary celebration, September the 30th, 2023. And these are all signed by Mama Renee McClendon.
I love Mama Renee, been with her for years. We danced together, even Mama Nozipa, all of us, we danced together at one of the first Black Culture Festivals they had downtown next to the Men's Y. It was an open field. So we all danced together, had a good time. Thank you so much, appreciate it.
In acknowledgement and honor of the steadfast service to our community through the McClendon Institute of Learning Board of Directors, we confer the certificate to Brenda Long. Brenda, are you here? Okay. In acknowledgement and honor of the steadfast service to our community through the McClendon Institute of Learning Board of Directors, we confer the certificate to Shannon Johnson. And again, Shannon could not be here today. She is with her family, had a death in the family. The McClendon Institute of Learning Board of Directors. The McClendon Institute of Learning Board Certificate of Appreciation is given to Marlon Shackelford in acknowledgement and honor of the steadfast service of our community through the McClendon Institute of Learning Board of Directors. We confer this certificate, Marlon, to you. Come on, Marlon.
I'm showing my linebacker skills. Show my skills. Sold out. Thank you. That's all I gotta say.
The McClendon Institute of Learning Board of Directors give this certificate of appreciation to Tawana Hawkins in acknowledgement and honor of the steadfast service to our community through the McClendon Institute of Learning Board of Directors. We confer this certificate to Tawana Hawkins on the 40th anniversary celebration, September the 30th, 2023.
She warned you about giving me the microphone. I just want to thank you for the acknowledgement. It has thoroughly been a privilege and an honor to serve on the board, to serve you, and anything that anyone has to do in this community. I am here for you, just like Mama Renee, and I want to continue honoring the history that has been started here, right here in the city of Dayton. Did y'all hear the first and the only? Did y'all hear first and only? Right here. You are being a witness to the first and only. Thank you.
This is finally, I'm passing the torch. Everybody's been telling me to pass the torch. Pass the torch, pass the torch. So I am passing the torch. So today, I'm passing the drum portion of our Umba Drama Drum and Dance to Shamba Muhammad.
Thank you, Mama. I appreciate you, everybody here today.
Speak up!
Huh?
Speak up!
Okay, so what's up?
There you go. That's good. That microphone.
I appreciate you, Mama Renee, and everybody here in the McClendon Institute. I just look forward to helping you build this future. And if anybody has any children, bring them out. They want to learn how to drum, bring them through. Sundays at 4 o'clock. Come out, you learn it. Real traditional African music. So if you want to get your children involved, I'm here. See Mama Renee, come on. Thank you.
Shannon, she couldn't make it. She really wanted to be here. But I'm passing the torch to her as well for the dance portion. And actually I did it a few years ago. But my board and my children sat me down and said, long talking to me, I need to, slow it down, stop doing it. And so that's what I'm doing. Well, when I told Shannon, I said, well, I passed the torch to you. And she told me, she said, yes, Mama, but you didn't let it go. I'm letting you go. As of today, I'm letting you go.
Thank you. All right. Really quickly, everybody get out these lovely red tickets you just purchased. We're going to do our first drawing of the afternoon.
We started the process of doing our Black is Beautiful fashion shows for the Dayton African American Cultural Festival. It was an idea that was given to me by Audrey Davis. And we both connected on the idea that we are such a beautiful people, and that our traditional clothing, the styles of our foremothers, our great mothers, our ancestors, you could be any size, you could be any complexion, you could be any shape. They designed clothes that would just move with the body. Beautiful colors, beautiful fabrics. And now those fabrics have become the fabrics of the world. They are going to be represented in our fashion show today. Today, our fashion show, as usual, has a theme. Because we never wanted to have a fashion show just to look cute. We always wanted to have a fashion show that tells our story, that reflects our beauty. Not just certain people's beauty or certain body types or certain ages, but all of us. For all of us to see how beautiful we are and to celebrate each other was our dream. So we started this process with the festival. Today, because of this occasion, we're celebrating, and I know that I am 73 years old, but I am able to come to the McClendon Institute of Learning and learn how to do African cultural dance. This is the only place I know in Dayton that can happen, but the fact that I am allowed to do it at my age, that my health is being cultivated by this place is just, health is just so precious. And the older you get, the more precious it gets. So we're doing this under the auspices of the Kuumba, Drama, Drum, and Dance. And Kuumba means creativity. So I challenged myself and dedicated myself to do a fashion show that is 100% upcycled, so that we have the concept of creativity all the way through our fashion show. So I have designed our clothing from clothing that I got out of my closet and other people's closet. Goodwill, thrift stores, consignment stores. Our fashion show has a concern for the environment. There is an ocean of garbage floating out in the ocean. We want to start doing things that stop that. I just came back from Egypt where I made a pledge standing in the Nile River to protect the water that gives us life. We must protect that water that gives us life. We can't just be consumers in this world. We have to be protectors of the world in this world. We have to be the protectors of love in the world. So that is the theme of our fashion show. And as we go along, I'm going to be talking about some of the ideas that these models. Before the fashion show, at the end of the fashion show, we had testimonies. Yes.
So I have two people, one is a cook and one is a teacher that was one of the do this, and then we're going to do the fashion show.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So, we're going to invite them up. Are they here?
Yes. Anugu, you said you wanted to go first, child. Come on. 1 minute.
Hello, I have 58.2 seconds, so I'm gonna make this quick. But I just want to say thank you to my mom, my uncle, my grandparents, and my family, the community. We love you. We appreciate you. We couldn't do this without you. It's been a long, hard journey. A long, hard journey. My mom has been the $5 queen for so many years. And that's, oh, you can have this for $5. You can have this when it's worth more than that. Especially knowledge, history, our history. And people don't share that. And another thing, she's a grandmaster in karate. And when it came to karate, she also taught history with that. So you don't get that in too many places. So again, I just want to say thank you to my mom and my family. And when I say family, family isn't always blood, because you need water to survive. So when they say blood thicker than water, no, you need water to survive. This is my family. Everybody in here, this is my family. It wouldn't be possible without y'all. So I love you and thank you. Did I keep it under?
I call her pretty because every time you see her,
I'm not pretty.
She's gorgeous, girl.
I call her pretty every time because she's going through and has been through a lot. I mean, surgeries and treatments and, you know, everything. And the way that she keeps going and the way that she keeps going with a style and a grace, I find that to be very pretty.
Amen, amen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Elders dear, elders all, acknowledge you. My name is Fahim Kurtz Kabir. I'm a professor at St. Clair Community College. Born in the year 12, ain't nothing hard? I'll be right there. Tenure, all that good academic stuff. Mama Renee, there's not a lesson plan. There's not a conference. There's not an event that I've done where I don't speak your name. I came to Mama Renee, 3rd grade, Mom? 3rd grade. I got kicked out of 2 schools. Was on the juvenile diversion program downtown. Kitty jail, essentially. They allowed my mother the grace to find someone or a program that could meet the same metrics that they had downtown. For those of you familiar with our penal system, and I'll just talk about Dayton because I know Dayton the best. Reform isn't at the forefront. Checking boxes is, but reform is not. And so, for the first time in my academic career at that time, I felt seen. And for the first time, I was actually empowered to know more about myself. That it was okay to have a desire, as so many of our young kids do, to have a knowledge of self. And it's difficult to find that in the traditional education system. And so Mama Renee not only taught me, she loved on me, and she held me accountable. Because you wasn't going for my temper tantrum. And so now knowing that you get like a triple black belt, I understand. But I didn't get it. She ain't budging on nothing. Because she could beat me up. But all jokes and funnies aside, to be here on this day, because my son is here, he's outside playing. And so as we walked in initially, I'm pointing to the different corners where we had lessons. And all those memories come rushing back. The people, Jason and Aaron, right, the twins, and the relationships that I made here, the community that I was able to tap into. And so now as I'm in this place, undoubtedly I couldn't be here without you. And also credit to my mother, because now as a parent, that takes so much courage to turn your child loose to somebody and allow Mama Renee to do what she did. So credit to you, Mama. And so, now as we share this time and space together, and this positive energy that's tangible, right? Let this not be the last time we come together as community to support Mama Renee. Right? It's up off the ground, it's running, the programming is here. Let's make this a watering hole for us.
Come on.
Right? Particularly as black folks in a city such as Dayton, there's not too many places we can be where we're not ostracized or we're not othered. This is ours, right? And let's treat it and uplift it and champion it as such. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. We don't consider that an interruption, but we consider it part of the flow and the reason and the meaning of being here. We'd like to move forward with our fashion show now. The fashion show is in tune with the concept of kuumba, which is creativity. We want to encourage people to get things out of your closet, take them apart and reconstruct them. Don't go to the mall. Don't go shopping. If you want to go shopping, we have a lot of black vendors that don't get patronized because we're going to Walmart. So please absorb this. I'd like for everybody in the room to raise your hand. And I want you to say, I'm doing my part to get the air conditioning and heat repaired and installed in the McClendon Institute. That's right. Thank you. I would like to commend you for that. And I would like to remind you that that was the reason that you paid to come in today. That was the reason to build for the years to come. Mama Renee said that she's ready for another 40 years, okay? But this building is 100 years old, so it's already had more than 80 years. So some things will have to be repaired. But if it's ours, we have to own it, and we have to get those things done. You know, if we want to be here telling the truth about our history, then we can't always be asking the government for a grant. If we want to be here actually letting our young people know who they really are and what they're up against and how they're going to overcome, we have to do for self. So this is the energy that happens when you come, make your donations, and move us towards that place. Okay? We want to have children here taking dance classes, drum classes, and and we already do. There's quilling classes. There's sewing classes. The students that came here and took sewing classes went home with sewing machines at the end of the class. There's so much being done here that people just don't know about. And we really appreciate and love Mama Renee for her humility. She's not gonna brag about anything. But what happens is we need to be the voice that lets the people know what's going on. what's available for you at the McClendon Center. All right, so we're gonna move forward with our fashion show, lights, music. I'm going to tell you the names of our models today because we're going to have a focus on the African designs that they're going to be wearing. We have Mama Cece Rosalynn Bradley, Vondia Jackson Thompson, David Kuumba Greer, Bishop Clarence Norton, Kwaku Larry Franklin Crow, Dina Israel, Ashley Bass and S.J. Selvin, Marilyn Sneed, Zena Marie Williams, Bree Hope, Yazil Palmer, Rachel Esau, Kaya Knowles, Richard Hairston, Alyssa Knowles, Tyler Knowles, Janea McClendon, and Audrey and Big Davis. Uncle Murphy is in the house. How in the world? Okay. All right, let's begin with Mama Cece Rosalynn Bradley. She really challenged me. Hold on. She said, Mama, I want this outfit, and I don't have a pattern, and I don't have an example, and I can't draw. And I said, we're going to make this happen. We are going to do this. So I want to tell you what's going on here. This has a kind of duster front, as you can see. But the back of the duster goes all the way down. Goes all the way down to the back. Turn around. Then comes up to the front and ties across the top. It's like a jumpsuit, wrap, duster, and everything all in one. We made it out of an antique Indian sari. And I just appreciate her for giving me the inspiration and the challenge. And here she is. The crown that she's wearing was made by Linda Crawford. Lovely Linda. Nothing there from the mall. And here comes Mama Vine. She is wearing a mud cloth duster with red coral jewelry. What we are trying to emphasize is the importance of vintage. This is a duster that is 3 generations old. She will be able to pass it down to somebody. It is woven material. You know, today we have kente that's woven, but we have the print. We have mud cloth, and we know that's woven, but we have the print. We have indigo dyed fabric, that woven material, but we have the print. This is the original woven material. Our foremothers designed very classic styles that anybody can wear. You don't have to be tall, you don't have to be short, you don't have to be big, you don't have to be little, you don't have to be anything but what you are. And be you. And here we have our elder, David Kuumba Greer. I am never going to have a fashion show that doesn't have David Kuumba Greer because his name is Kuumba. He is wearing what you may remember we called in the 60s the dashiki shirt. I see another dashiki shirt over here. And I love that too. I love that when we have our fashion shows, you could actually pick out people in the audience that could be up here too. because we're reflecting each other here. All right. And he's our beloved elder, and he's wearing a genuine woven mud cloth crown. David McClendon. Our elders are so beautiful. Yeah, you see that cane? That's a lot of swag. A lot. Okay, now we have our beloved Bishop Clarence Norton. He is we got the sports coat from a thrift store, and we went to, what's that town? The Monroe? Yes, yeah. We went to Monroe, Ohio to get this African fabric, and this fabric is a brocade fabric on top of the print, which means it has an embossed shine on the fabric. Can you show them the back of the sports coat? This was a plain black sports coat, but we decided to make this what you see right now. That's fine. Okay. This is what we, want to do. We're not going to wreck our family's budget shopping. We're going to be creative and show our creativity. Let's take this jacket off. It's kind of warm for this jacket. It's that global warming thing. He has the kufi that's made from the same fabric. He has the dashiki that's made from the same fabric. And he has the pants that are made from the same fabric. But today he's just wearing the dashiki, the crown, and the sports jacket so that you can get an idea about what we can do. He needs his meds. Our elders, we're dealing with a lot, and when you see us, we just keep on going. And we help each other, we support each other. Okay, Kwaku Larry Franklin Crow, can you please stand up for us, sir? He is wearing what is very popularly known in Nigeria as a shoke. Yes. This is a vintage piece. This came from a brother in Chicago who he became very ill. He lost a lot of weight, so this would not, fit him anymore. And we're sharing things among each other and understanding the value of what we have. So he asked me to make him the cream-colored Ashoke crown. So I made that last night, and it was taken from a pair of pants that were made out of Ashoke. But we needed the crown to complete his outfit, and he is just royal today. I'm so proud of my husband. He's our resident oral historian. He has over 2,200 oral histories registered in the Library of Congress, and it's the largest archive of African American history in the entire world. Israel. Dina is a radiation of color. She's wearing her beautiful pastels, geometric shapes. We have been using the geometric shapes since ancient times. And when you all hear ancient times, you might think about maybe early Nigeria, Songhai, Mali, Ghana. No, that's modern times compared to our original culture in the Nile Valley, down into South Africa. That's where we want to go that far back. We don't want to stop short and cut ourselves off from our greatness. She's wearing the grand buba. And the reason that it's grand is because every woman that wears it just looks amazing. It flows, it moves, it shows you color. The grand buba. Okay, now we're going to have a mother-son combination. This is our star, Ashley Bass. She is just the mover and shaker and haymaker in our community, working on so many things. So they're wearing the African print sweatsuit, and it's really hot. So I know they're sweating. But if you notice on the legs, we have the red, black, and green Africa. We have it on the hoods. We have them matching, but still in their own type of style. Both of them hooded, and they're ready for the fall. They're ready for the fall and ready for the winter.
Don't hurt them.
Because it's a sweatsuit, when I make it for people, I prefer for the sweatsuit itself to be new. So I go and buy the sweatsuits, and I don't get like a $20 jacket or something like that, like a $9 sweatsuit and a $9, so that I maybe invest $20 in the sweatsuit. But then we take the African fabric and turn it into ours. We turn it into our design, our culture, our colors, and our messages that we want to give. So they are a very beautiful mother and son combination. Bree Hope. This is our dancer, Bree Hope. She just sparkles with energy. She has her own style. And when I'm really preparing clothes for people, I try to capture their style, not my style, their style. And she is just so delightful, so adorable, and she just really knows how to be stylish. Show them what you got. I love this. And her last name is Hope. Yeah, so all of us are hoping with her for a better world. We're putting our energy into making a better world that's a better world for everybody. Oh, here comes our queen. Oh, Yazille Palmer. Another one of our Kuumba dancers, so you probably recognize her. She's wearing a deep purple African batik. It's a serious process because you have to put wax on the fabric, then you have to dye the fabric, then you have to put wax on the fabric again to put another color on the fabric, and then you have to make that that deep into a design. She is stunning. Yazil Paul. Rachel? Is Rachel here? Okay, she was having trouble with the GPS, but Rachel is in the house. This is our princess from Liberia. Wow. We are so proud to have her in our family. She is a very serious young lady. She's a realtor. She's a student. She just is doing so much. She's got so much going on, and she makes the time to be a part of our fashion shows. And we really appreciate it. Rachel. Kaya, no. All right. Kaya is wearing Corhogo cloth. Corhogo cloth. I got out my phone, and if you all want to do this, you can. We Googled Corhogo cloth. Korhogo. We saw a piece of Corhogo cloth being sold for $1,333 used. Yes. This cloth is made in the Ivory Coast. Very popular, very, desired by people. The process of producing it is a lot. She's wearing the jumper with the matching coat. So this is going to take her all the way through the winter because that's a woven material. It's not just a print on cotton. It's actually a woven material. If you have Corhogo cloth, if you grow out of it or you get tired of it, you give that to somebody. That's called an heirloom. Okay, that's an heirloom. Thank you. Richard. Marilyn. Okay, here she comes. This is indigo. I don't know if you've heard of the dye vats of Kano in Nigeria, or if you've heard of the blue men. The reason that they're called the blue men is because they become the artists of making this indigo cloth, and the dye vats, and they sometimes absorb so much dye that their already black skin becomes kind of blue-black. And this material is now so popular that this is the print. The woven material. Mama Renee has one. This is a very expensive type of fabric, and the print is beautiful. Thank you. I told Marilyn to just come and bring something from her closet because she has friends in Ghana and they send her things, and so I knew it was fitting in our fashion show. Okay, so next we have Richard Harrison. Okay, I don't see him, so next we have Jay Sean. All right. Yeah. Okay. Denim is very practical, especially for the fall and winter. But we don't want to break it down into a cowboy style. We're not trying to be cowboys. So we know how to take our denim and reconstruct it so it's what we like. This is a very nice African print, deconstructed skirt with all kinds of strips of African fabric on it. Her jacket has the same fabric on the back and strips of the fabric on the front. Her shirt, her t-shirt, we took a t-shirt and put embroidery on it so it mirrors the type of embroidery style like this that we see on traditional African garments. And she is just a peach. Janea McClendon. We are bringing our star to the runway. Her t-shirt has a peplum. The peplum is lined, and so it gives it a little bit of weight. She can wear this into the fall, especially with these colors. And it's got a star right in the middle of it because she's our star. Okay, now we're going to have Alyssa and Tyler Knowles, brother and sister, in their own style. What we did with them was show a type of feminine reconstruction. She's wearing the heart shape, which represents Sankofa, but it also represents love. Also, he's wearing a more masculine dashiki pocket with the Africa on the top and the front embroidery design around the top. Okay, walk with that. They got that adorableness on lock. Okay, Uncle Murphy. All right, this is too much for the people.
I see you.
This is too much for the people. He's not playing. He put a symbol on his arm that means Akobin. It means I am ready to stand up and fight for what I am ready. I am ready. When we create our designs, all right, go. You will be able to see him modeling in the Cancer Fashion Show that's coming up on the 21st. So, you know, we need to be there. We need to be there. That's a place that, you know, needs our love and support. Because that's just, we got to make sure we don't miss anybody of our people. Okay? I was a little disappointed because I had one sister that was planning to come to model in the fashion show is albino, and she is so, I don't even know how to describe her. She goes to school and her classmates might say, "You're white." And she'll say, "I'm albino." And she's in herself. She's proud of herself, and she is beautiful. But we have to just be conscious of making sure that we're inclusive. You know, diversity means that there's a lot of different kinds of people among us, but we're all belonging to each other. Okay, our final models are the royal couple, Bing and Audrey Davis. They're wearing royal blue because they are the royal couple. They're wearing gold because they are the golden couple. You saw when Bing did his laudation, he had Audrey come up and he acknowledged Audrey. Right? And this is such a modeling of what we need and what we have to heal and to grow together as a people. so many reasons. I'm grateful for Audrey for stimulating the whole idea to have fashion shows, and for his long history of contributions to art, to our community, to people coming after him. The fact that he is always conscious of passing on the torch, you know, including the young people. He presided over our wedding, and he did the same thing in our wedding. So we have a treasure here, and we just want to have you all walk with us. Okay, can we have Marlon Shackelford come up here?
I took the mic because this lady needs some acknowledgement. She designed and put it together. That Philly took us and designed it specifically for the model. Talk about creativity.
Okay, I build Marlon Shackelford. He hasn't been feeling well. He had a cold, and I know I had the same miserable virus after the festival, and I was really concerned about him. And I didn't think that he was going to make it today, because he's like my premier model. But I thought that he needed to come up here anyway, because the shirt that he's wearing expresses where we know our beauty comes from. So I just want, even though we didn't prepare garments for him to wear today, I still want him to have the love and applause for modeling the concept that our fashion show is trying to bring forward. Thank you.
All right, let's give Mama Olavisi another round of applause. Alright, well, as fun as it's been entertaining you all today, we have come to an end. So, we are going to have some remarks by Mama Renee, and then we will end with the drum.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Like I said, it's been challenging, but
Can't hear you, Green Day.
no, you didn't want to come up here the last minute, but now you can't hear me. Those are my grandbabies back there. 3 of them. Wait a minute. 3 of them back there that were in my school. And all of them graduated early. Early. A year and a half early, 2 years early. One was a speaker with Baba Shack.
At 2 years old, tell the age.
At 2, because we had to put her on TV, nobody would believe that she was speaking 3 different languages and counting and reading, you know, at an early age. I have another grandson back there too. I had, he did also. So I have a lot of grandchildren that did come. One's in the back there. So I'm proud of everybody, and I'm really glad to see the crowd and tell you how much I appreciate you again. If it wasn't for you and the support, the elder support, we have a great elder council here. I mean, all the way. My Kuumba family, Kuumba Drama Dance family, very supportive. I mean, sometimes we had pipes break, and they would come, they wouldn't even call me. They're at the door knocking. What can we do? I had a family, three generations, to come and help me strip the floors, paint the chairs, put up, you know, different things around. They're over here, all three of them. Mama, daughter, grandkids. So I appreciate you all. And we're going to have a drum. The drum is going to play us out, but you don't have to leave. We got food. They got food back there. So if you have to hit the road, because I know I have a lot of family that are out of town. But please, you don't have to rush out. Please enjoy each other. Okay? Thank you. I'm ready.
John McClendon III. As he gets ready to tell us his enriching history. So, get the chair. Get the chair and put it up here. Get the chair and put it up here, bro. Right here. Thank you. Let's give him one more round of applause, y'all.
Okay. Good afternoon. It's so exciting today for many reasons to celebrate 40 years of the McClendon Institute for Learning. 40 years, 4 decades of a building that is a century old. And when you think about it, if you take 40 out of 100, that's pretty remarkable, considering the fact that when my father decided to purchase this building, it had been almost completely destroyed by a fire. And he brought the whole family here to see the building. And when we arrived, you could still smell the stench of the smoke. And the electricity was turned off. So he had a flashlight. And that flashlight glimmered through the darkness. And as I think about that, in many ways that became symbolic of what was to become. Glimmering through the darkness, a light that goes through what seems to be a dark beginning with no return. But what we do know as we come today to talk about the 40th anniversary of the McClendon Institute for Learning, that this is a testament about the scope and substance of struggle. The scope and substance of struggle. And it is important because when we look at the scope, it actually goes way beyond 40 years. And as I look at this beautiful piece of art that conveys my parents here, and there is also another photo of them in the back of the room. When I look at that, it reminds me how the scope of the struggle that they engaged in actually began when Renee and I were small children. When we lived in Columbus, Ohio, before coming to Dayton, Renee and I had a unique experience. We were able to witness the graduation of our father from high school. I said high school. As a father and husband with 2 children, my father was determined to get his high school diploma. He had become frustrated at an earlier age at being told that he could not pursue the kind of career that he wanted to pursue. His teacher told him, as a black person, he should think of something else. And so, I don't say he dropped out of school. He was a push-out, as so many of our children have been systematically pushed out of the formal educational institutions on the premise that they could not learn. And so I can still remember that day, just before the graduation ceremonies. Renee and I were sitting in the dining room admiring our father's graduation gown. And we were quite excited about what was to prevail. After my father graduated from high school, I became aware of the fact that my mother was very instrumental in helping him to develop his talents. Now, let me explain something to you that I think is important to know about the scope of the struggle. My mother graduated from high school, and she had impeccable grammar. And when she married my father's grammar was not, if you will, impeccable. And so when they first married, they developed a signal so that whenever my father would say something grammatically wrong, my mother would signal him and he would make the corrections. And that was between them. That was their whole thing. So look, because most of us know our grammar is a reflection of our experiences. So if we say he be there, or I is, or we say they car, or they house. In fact, I've never heard a white person say they house or they car. That's something we've given to the language. But my mother would signal my father. And so they were a team in learning. And so, after my father completed his high school diploma, my mother gave him a surprise a few weeks later. My father, for those who may not know, was an excellent musician and a vocalist that would remind you of Paul Robeson. And Dad gave concerts all throughout Central Ohio at various communities and churches. Beautiful voice. And so my mother told him, John, there's something you have to prepare for. And he said, what? And she told him, I've entered you into a music contest for a scholarship to Wilberforce University. And Dad said, what? I said, yes, you heard me. Start preparing. Mom was like that. When she spoke, everyone listened. And so Dad began to prepare for this musical contest. And he won the contest and gained a scholarship to Wilberforce. Yeah. This was tremendous for us. And here we understood early on in life, and why Renee says to you, in all candor and honesty, that her 40-year legacy here was not done alone. Because we learned from our parents that who we are is based upon the relationships that we develop with others. And that begins with the family. And so, when my dad was to head off to Wilberforce University, mind you now he has a family of three children, I should say, a family of 4. We had to move in with my aunt and cousins. And there was no disagreement, there was no clamor, there was no issue about, oh no, they're going to move in with us. They welcomed us with open arms. And in that environment, we kind of had extra siblings, older siblings that we could look up to. All of them very talented as musicians. One of whom, who today still lives in New York City, performed with Harry Belafonte across the world. I've recently discovered a picture of her back in the 70s with an afro, and when she was then performing, and in this group picture with Harry Belafonte. She went on to become an actress and actually appeared in TV shows and soap operas. Another brother, her oldest, was a jazz pianist who always took interest in our development in music. And then the younger sister was also a talented singer. So we were engulfed by a family of support when my father had to go to Wilberforce. So he didn't have any cares or concerns about our welfare because we were in good hands. This is long before Allstate had that slogan. And so Dad entered Wilberforce University, and after a while, because his scholarship was not a full scholarship, he decided to begin working. And so he decided to leave Wilberforce and come to Dayton, Ohio. And so, as it were, in 1955, we packed up our things and arrived in what was called then the Joy Apartments. We lived in the Joy Apartments off Nicholas Road. And we came there, and my father was still taking a class or two as he was working full-time at Desi. And then my mother began to work at Wright-Patterson to provide for us in our new surroundings and to save up for buying a home, which they bought at 352 Harriet Street. And that little house on Harriet Street became the center of the McClendon clan. And there we began to see, in a very important way, the measure of struggle. Remember what I said? A testament to the scope and substance of struggle. And so we understood full well when my mother made a meal, she would call those her depression meals, where she would figure out creatively how to come up with a meal. And believe me, anyone who's ever had my mother's cooking, and there's some of you who have had that pleasure, know she could burn. And I personally was one of those at the forefront of the table whenever she had what she called her throwaways. She was such a perfectionist that if she was baking a cake and it didn't come out just like she wanted, she threw it away. She would throw it away. And there, Renee and I, Tammy and Pierre, learned a very important lesson, the principle of perfection. To never accept anything less than your best. And so when I saw my mother throw away cakes and pies and various things that did not meet her expectations, she taught us a valuable lesson. And so as we grew and we learned from our parents, we all had our unique capabilities. And my parents understood that. We also had not only capabilities, but disabilities. And I was at the forefront of the disability line. I had cerebral palsy. I was born premature. I weighed 2 pounds and a few ounces. And the doctors told my mother I would not live. My mother had a different attitude. My father had a different attitude. And over time, I grew and survived. And I share with some of my closest friends the story that as I began to get older, I could not sit up. You know, each stage you go in your childhood, I could not sit up. And every time they would sit me down, I would fall over on my right. And Dad looked, set me up again, and I'd fall over on my right. And so Dad said, "Carmen, something's wrong with this boy." And of course, as most black mothers would be, there's nothing wrong with my baby. So he had to teach her. And this is where learning becomes so critical to our family, because he had to teach her not how to love us, but to accept us even in spite of those limitations and build beyond them. And so, there, my parents came together. They invested a great degree of energy, time, and effort to help me grow. Because when they figured out there was something wrong, at the stage in which I should have been able to just sit up like any other child, I would fall over to the right. And my mother, as most mothers, was blind to that. She said, "No, something's wrong. We're going to deal with it." And so I started on, early in life, rehabilitation so that I could become able to take care of myself. Now, I share this story with you because when you think about the idea of the McClendon Institute for Learning, you have to understand that long before this building, there was a principle that my parents shared with us, and the greatest student among us was my sister. She became the ultimate teacher the ultimate sage, the ultimate support, even though I was the oldest. And why I say that is because in the days in which I endured therapy so that I could have better use of my hand, my right side, I have cerebral palsy. I was born premature, less than 3 pounds. And so I had to go through therapy. Well, among those who were engaged in my therapy as therapists were not only my parents, but my younger sister, Renee. I want you to give her a hand. I want you to understand that because Renee was a teacher before her time. She taught me how to tie my shoes. I think I always teased her and I said, I think you got tired of your friends telling you, oh, your older brother can't tie his shoes? What's wrong with him? I said she got angry with that, so every day she would work with me and taught me how to tie my shoes because I don't have full facility in my right hand. But somehow, she was so perceptive and wise at an early age that she figured out a method so that I could tie my shoes. And some of you may be looking at my feet now and said, they're not tied now. Well, that's not because she didn't teach me a good lesson. I got a few pounds around my waist and I can't get it up her. So early on, Renee became a teacher. As a child, she taught her older brother how to tie his shoes. And she became a teacher before her time. She was one who always had in mind the best potential in everyone she met. She did not meet anyone who she thought that could not accomplish at the highest level. And when we were growing up and we would play games, her favorite game was school, and she was the teacher. And I knew then, as she later demonstrated, that she was going to be an outstanding teacher. And so when she went to Florida A&M, majoring in music education, her talent beyond all expectation, she was all city orchestra, all state orchestra, and she played all the string instruments. And so she went to Florida A&M and earned a degree in music education. She can play all the string instruments: violin, viola, cello, bass, guitar. She plays them all, along with the master of string instruments, the piano. You have to understand that piano is both a string and a percussive instrument. And she played them all, but she enjoyed teaching people music than playing music. Remember, she majored in music education. In fact, when she was at Florida A&M, she developed a full halftime show for the football game at Florida A&M.
Oh, that's a big.
And she built it around a theme of Julian Cannonball Adderley, Mercy, Mercy, Mercy. Yes. It was so awesome that they gave it a standing ovation. And so, as it were, when she eventually returned to Dayton, Ohio, she came well prepared to do the task of being a teacher. But you may look closely at her resume, and there's something unique about that. And that is, she has been a master teacher for decades, but she never taught in the public schools. She never taught in the public schools because she was convinced through her training in education that education had to be for liberation and not indoctrination. And so she, at an early age, decided then to teach young people in our community. And so, as it were, the precursor to the McClendon Institute for Learning was her kitchen, her living room, where she would have kids in the neighborhood come. And she would teach them everything from playing the piano, to playing the violin, to playing a viola, to learning the alphabet, to doing mathematics, all in the confines of her home. And those who know Renee very well know she never accepted a single penny for her work. And this continued on year after year after year, where she had so many students that she had prepared so well that many of them were like 2, 3, even 4 years in advance of where they would have been if they had gone to the conventional study and curriculum in Dayton Public Schools. And so at that point is when my father sat down and he says, she needs to have her own institute. And that day when he brought us into this very room, and we could smell the smoke because this place had caught fire. At one time, it was a place that people would come and box. At another time, I think it was involved in music. At another time, but when my father saw that, he had a vision that says, this is the place for Renee to do her thing. And so he single-handedly began to reform a burnout building into a hall of learning with Renee at the head. And so as the McClendon Institute for Learning emerged 40 years ago, my sister in her creativity, my parents in their solidarity, decided that there would be something new in Dayton, Ohio. And that something new would be headed by a very tenacious woman, Mama Renee. And I say tenacious because even when we were children, and those of my peers who are here today who grew up with us will tell you that she didn't take nonsense even from her peers. You didn't mess with her. She was a teacher, she was in control, but she always cared so dearly that she was willing to invest whatever it took so that you could become the best that you could be. And so when my parents decided to support this effort at forging the McClendon Institute for Knowledge, the McClendon Institute for Learning, I have to let you know why it is so significant. The 40 years go back beyond 40 years. It goes back to a family legacy of two people, my father and mother, who looked upon their children and says, I have something special here, and this one, Renee Lamar McClendon. And we need to give her a place, a space, so that she could share her gifts with the community. Today, I can't begin to tell you how many students came under her wing, who today have been successful in terms of their professional work and social activist experiences, of young people who would come to me and say, oh, Mama Renee was the one who taught me Black history. Yes, we had Black history classes, and I remember we got, I forgot how many copies, maybe like 30 copies of Lerone Bennett's Before the Mayflower. and we gave them out to the students that we had right here in this room. And I would go around the community and gather up the kids, and Renee would organize everything, and we would have free Black History classes every Saturday. And then we would drive the kids back, to soda baths and different places. And you could see how she could capture young people and turn their minds into something more than a hat rack. But their minds would give their heads an opportunity to focus on the importance of their own identity and place in the world. And so today, as we come together to celebrate a very important moment in history, we have to understand that moments, when they continue, become movements. So today, when we look at the McClendon Institute for Learning, this is not just a moment, it's the continuum of a movement. A movement where there was vision, foresight on the part of Renee Lamar McClendon to engage in education in an innovative way. She didn't go into the public schools. She said, no, that's not the road I want to take. But I tell you what, the road I take will be the road not taken, but the road that would pioneer new avenues. And so with Renee Lamar McClendon, Mama Renee, we sit here today and we celebrate a legacy of excellence. And I can say, as a former student of hers, remember what I told you, she taught me how to tie my own shoes. That she is a master teacher who loves the legacy of learning, who loves the legacy of learning and is committed through the spirit and fortitude that comes with hard work. There's nothing about my sister that you can say about her being not capable of reaching her goals. So after she got her bachelor's degree from Florida A&M, she returned and received a master's degree from the University of Dayton. And why that was so significant is because she inspired so many others by doing so. And here's the kicker. She inspired my own father to go back and get his master's degree. And when he turned 65, they had a senior discount that you could receive for tuition. And so then he enrolled at Wright State and over the years earned his master's degree and began teaching in the Dayton public schools. She was an inspiration. Can you imagine as a child being an inspiration to a parent? That's where Renee was. And so when we celebrate this very important occasion, when we think about the legacy that gives birth to the status that we have today, let us not forget that if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who deprecate agitation are men who want the crops without plowing up the ground. They want the rain without the thunder and the lightning. They want the ocean without the awful war of its many waters. And Frederick Douglass went on to say, this struggle may be a moral one, or it may be a physical one, but it must be a struggle. For power concedes nothing without demand. And then he says, you know, you may not get all that you pay for in life, but you surely must pay for all that you get. Renee McClendon has paid for, invested in, rooted herself in this community. And so we see the fruits of her labor. And we congratulate Renee and the community who has supported this valiant effort to bring victory to the African American community in Dayton, Ohio. And it is indeed my pleasure to speak to you today. Thank you.